This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Bishop William Byrne, inviting you to radiate the light of Christ by making a gift to the annual Catholic Appeal. The ministries and agencies supported with your generosity help thousands of our neighbors throughout Western Massachusetts. The annual Catholic Appeal unites us in the mission to help meet the physical, spiritual, and sacramental needs of our brothers and sisters and to grow our church. Please donate to the annual Catholic Appeal. Join me in radiating the light of Christ and be a force for hope and love in the world. On behalf of the people we serve, thank you.
Let it
Shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
150 years of Providence, and it's not over yet. It's a special anniversary for the Sisters of Providence. I'm Rebecca Drake, and I'll have the story.
Concerns over an end-of-life care form in Massachusetts. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll explain coming up.
And a special interview with Sister of Providence Mary Caritas, who talks about her 77 years serving the people of God as she approaches her 100th birthday. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. It was a day for celebrating the past and looking forward to the future as the Sisters of Providence of Holyoke marked 150 years in the diocese. Joined by more than 280 guests gathered at Providence Place, they recently marked this impressive milestone with a special anniversary mass and reception. Rebecca Drake was there as the women religious and the diocese marked a century and a half of compassionate care here in Western Massachusetts.
Orphans wandering the streets alone, mill workers living in overcrowded, unsanitary conditions. It sounds like a scene from a Charles Dickens novel, but this was Holyoke, Massachusetts in 1873, when 4 Sisters of Charity of Providence arrived from Canada and established the roots of what would become the Sisters of Providence of Holyoke, under the leadership of Mother Mary of Providence.
Mother Mary of Providence was known for her just dynamic energy and vision. Within the first 15 years of her leadership, the Sisters of Providence established 20 works of charity. And these were not small things. These were hospitals, nursing homes, homes from working girls, and orphanages.
From their official founding in December of 1892 to the present day, the sisters have embodied the vision of their foundress, establishing the first Catholic hospital in Western Massachusetts, a Catholic health system, and numerous ministries serving the needy in the 4 counties of Western Massachusetts. And as they responded to the changing times over the last century and a half, one thing has remained the same.
I think the aspect of our life together that has been sustained over 150 years relates to our common charism of trust in the providence of God. Somehow that charism touched the hearts of the women who gathered here.
In his homily at the recent anniversary Mass, Bishop William Byrne recognized the accomplishments and the compassion that are the legacy of the Sisters of Providence.
So when we celebrate this day, we celebrate not just the hospitals and the work, the number of people that they've cured, transformed lives, stood up for the planet, stood up for women. We thank them and honor their being providence of God for us.
The bishop also praised the sisters' earthly talents, which allowed them to bring Christ's love to those who needed it most.
They've also been the brains and the bronze of the whole operation. They've built and designed each and every institute, raising the money themselves.
For Sister Popko, the anniversary is also a time for gratitude and for looking toward the future.
We won't have big buildings on the top of a hill anymore, but we'll probably have dynamic networks of groups of committed women religious around the world that will continue to carry on the charism of religious life.
The sisters are thankful for all who have embraced the spirit of providence, both religious and lay people.
And as we stood on their shoulders, I've also been thinking of the profound gratitude I have for the men and women who are now standing on our shoulders. I see them every day working here so diligently and with our spirit and with a real sense of our legacy.
And now it's a new day. And our hope is, and my prayer is that it will continue with the energy and with the intent that we Sisters of Providence have for it. And I think that's the best we could ask.
It is a day to celebrate, and people talk about the lives we've touched, but think of the people who've touched our lives, helped us on our journey. We've not done this alone.
Among those people who have touched the sisters' lives are those they have served, the ones that Sister McCleary calls the heroes.
And I learned compassion from them. I learned presence from them. I learned generosity from them. They had nothing and they could give everything, whatever they had to someone. And those are the things that I come away with. They made me who I am today.
You do not ask for sacrifice and offerings.
As the congregation continues to look forward, the anniversary celebration was a moment to receive the gratitude of the diocese for their ministry to the people of God in Western Massachusetts.
And that what we've learned from these sisters for 150 years, it's not just that we are called to trust Providence, but they have shown us that we must be Providence for one another. So to the Sisters of Providence, on behalf of this diocese and all the millions of people that you help, thank you and happy anniversary.
A past to be proud of, a day to rejoice, a future of providence to come. For Real to Real, I'm Rebecca Drake.
Congratulations to the Sisters of Providence, and a special thank you for all that they have done to serve the most needy among us. We wish them well as they continue to build the legacy of care that's so important here in Western Massachusetts. And one Sister of Providence in particular has been at the forefront of the mission of the Order for more than 75 years. And this August, she will be marking a milestone of her own. Nearing her 100th birthday, Sister Mary Caritas has devoted her life to serving people here in Western Massachusetts. I sat down with her recently at Providence Place in Holyoke, and I learned about how much Providence has been a part of her life story. Sister of Providence Mary Caritas Geary will celebrate her 100th birthday on August 22nd. Currently the vice president of her order, serving along with Sister Kathleen Popko as president and Sister Senga Fulton as secretary-treasurer, Sister Caritas lives at Providence Place in Holyoke, the former mother house of the Sisters of Providence. She says she has been retired since she turned 70. We sat in the courtyard outside talking about turning 100 and her 77 years as a Sister of Providence. I don't even know where to begin speaking to you because I feel like you've been such a legend here in Western Massachusetts for all of these years and done so much for the community and have been such a presence in so many different areas. And what all goes through your mind really when you say that you're going to be turning 100? And plus you just have so much energy still, and you don't even look like you're 75.
Well, you know, I look forward to every day, and I really always, Mother Mary of Providence said it right. Never rest on what you've done, but always move forward to what yet needs to be accomplished. And really, I feel that. That energizes me, and it's not just a slogan or a saying, but it's so true. There's always more that needs to be done.
Born Hannah Jean Geary, she grew up on Abbey Avenue in Springfield, an only child of Irish immigrant parents. Sister Caritas attended Mercy Hospital School of Nursing during World War II.
The war was on, and my goal was to be a Navy nurse, and I graduated and the war was over.
She was 23 when she entered the novitiate of the Sisters of Providence, admitting that she didn't really have a calling per se.
I think the work, the way the sisters dealt with people, and the ability to touch people's lives, was a nurse, and I just loved it. I loved every minute of it. And vocation sort of grew on me.
As did her religious name, Sister Mary Caritas. All Sisters of Providence have Mary in their names, and originally she asked for Paul because she had a devotion to St. Paul in his epistles.
I was called to the Reverend Mother's office, and she gave me the name Caritas from St. Paul's epistle. Charity is patient, charity is kind, and that's how my name came about.
Sister Caritas has had 5 assignments during her years in the order, most of which, to her initial dismay, did not involve nursing. Providence had other plans.
And then they broke my heart, but I was told that I was going to go to the Mercy Hospital. First I was thrilled, because that's where I had graduated, but then Reverend Mother said, and you're going to the dietary department. I was crushed. I wondered what I had done. Why was I being, sent to the dietary department?
Sister Caritas eventually received a master's in nutrition from Tufts University and went on to serve twice as president of her order. From 1977 to 1993, she was president and CEO of Mercy Medical Center, and in 1994, the Sister Mary Caritas Center for Oncology opened, adjacent to Mercy. But she says she is most proud of accomplishments made by her sisters in community, like Healthcare for the Homeless, founded by Sister Julie Crane more than 40 years ago.
It's Providence. I keep saying that. I've never been in a role in my entire life in the community that has not been Providence putting me there. I went there, kicking and screaming, unhappy, but then it turned out to be the best time of my life. Every one of my ministries has been the best ministry of my life. I mean that.
And now, as she approaches a century of life, Sister Caritas remembers all of the Sisters of Providence who have gone before her, all talented in their own ways, preserved through stories and in art. Like this painting done by the late Sister of Providence, Mary Gonzaga, which she lovingly described.
This is Martha, and she was complaining about Mary because she's left her to do all the serving. And so Sister Mary Gonzaga, she died, I think, in 59. I knew her.
The Catholic Church and life has certainly changed over the last 7+ decades that Sister Mary Caritas has served in community. With just under 20 Sisters of Providence still living, she remains confident, though, that God's providence will continue.
When I was in leadership, I had 455 sisters. Today, we're 16. And, so things have changed. But as we said right after Vatican Council II, this is the era of the laity. Our role is to inspire them to keep the legacy alive, and then make it not our legacy that they're living, but their legacy. And I think that, I believe that. That's part of my fiber of who I am. And so God will take care of us. And God's work will be done. It will be done in a different way, but it will be done.
What an amazing woman. She's given so much to the people here in the diocese. Happy 100th, Sister Caritas. And still to come on Reel to Reel, we'll talk with Bishop Byrne about the recent meeting of the United States Catholic Conference of Bishops. And then we'll take you to South Hadley, where after more than 6.5 decades, a longtime South Hadley parish organist is retiring. It's all still to come on Reel to Reel.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this today,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
On our life's journey, as we seek purpose and connection, we are called to place our faith and trust in something greater than our own understanding. We are called by someone who already loves us and offers himself to us, Jesus Christ. His body, given daily, his blood poured out for us. We never journey alone in life. Through the Eucharist, we encounter his real presence and others who share our faith. Together, we become one with him in his very flesh. And when we bring his presence out into the world, we can be light for others. This is the gospel call: to make disciples of all nations, laying down our lives for others. The time is now to unite our hearts with his for the life of the world.
The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops gathered June 14th through the 16th for their spring plenary assembly in Orlando. Throughout the gathering, the bishops spent time in prayer and fraternal dialogue with one another. Bishop William Byrne was at the meeting, and he joins us now with a recap of the event. Hello, Bishop Byrne. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Sharon. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Now, this was the first of 2 national meetings held by the bishops of the United States each year, and I know the agenda was packed. What were some of the highlights?
Well, for me, the true highlight is being together with my brother bishops. It's since we don't have many around us, it's nice to be able to come together as a group of brothers. So for me, that was the highlight. The June meeting is usually less packed with agenda items and more opportunities for vision and also for fraternity.
And I know you serve on the National Committee overseeing the Eucharistic Revival. How's that going?
It's very exciting. The resources that they're developing, both for in parishes and also for the Eucharistic Congress, which will be held next year in Indianapolis, all show such exciting and unbelievable momentum as we gather around and renew ourselves in the great gift of the Eucharist.
And finally, closer to home, our diocese will again play host to highly anticipated youth gathering, Steubenville East. You must be excited about this event returning to Springfield.
I am so excited that Steubenville East has decided to come back for a second year. It shows what a great job our local folks did in welcoming everyone, but this is an amazing youth experience. If you have not had a chance to sign up, or the people listening have not had a chance to engage, please do. It's so important and such a magnificent experience here in our diocese.
All right, Bishop Byrne, thanks so much for your insight. Always good to talk to you.
Thank you, Sharon. God bless.
Now to more local news. Recently, a training session sponsored by the Diocesan Pro-Life Commission was held for end-of-life directives. The focus was on the medical form, Medical Orders for Life-Sustaining Treatment, known as MOLST. The form asks questions about care which could prolong your life. But there are several concerns that have been raised locally and nationally, concerned about whether a patient would feel pressured to decline life-sustaining treatment. Carolyn McGrath has more.
MOLST is the Massachusetts version of a program that started in Oregon 30 years ago. And you may remember Oregon is the home of assisted suicide.
Patricia Stewart, the executive director of Mass Citizens for Life, led a training session recently at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield on an end-of-life care form known as MOLST, Massachusetts Medical Orders for Life-Sustaining Treatment.
I'm here to educate these consumers of health care about the concerns and the dangers in a medical order for life-sustaining treatment known as a MOLST, M-O-L-S-T form.
According to the Massachusetts Department of Health website, all physicians, nurse practitioners, or physician assistants, regardless of the setting of care, can present these forms to a patient of any age with a serious advanced illness.
The patient is asked to choose whether, in the cases of emergencies, either heart failure, respiratory failure, or other problem, do they want their life to be saved or do they not? All the first choices on the form are no. And it is, I said, it's a very dense form, it's very complicated, and most of the time people don't understand exactly what they're signing up for.
The form is voluntary. Stewart says it asks a series of questions regarding what kind of care a person would want if in certain situations. For example, would a patient want to be resuscitated if in cardiac arrest? Would a patient want help breathing if in respiratory distress? Or would a patient want artificial nutrition or hydration? She says these forms differ from a healthcare proxy because it goes into effect immediately. A healthcare proxy, or advance directives, go into effect when a person is no longer able to make a decision due to a coma, dementia, or unconsciousness.
Physicians are able to bill the federal government for every Medicare and Medicaid patient with whom they have this conversation. So there's a financial incentive for doctors to have these conversations.
Catholic teaching does not require patients to undergo all medical treatments if they cause undue burden. The Catechism of the Catholic Church states discontinuing medical procedures that are burdensome, dangerous, extraordinary, or disproportionate to the expected outcome can be legitimate. It is the refusal of overzealous treatment. Here, one does not will to cause death. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops has also expressed concerns about MOLST forms that can be found in many other states as well, because people may be declining medical treatment based on a future situation that is unpredictable.
I've talked to EMTs who say this form is impeding our ability to do our job because people don't know what they're signing.
Peggy Bradford, a member of the Diocesan Pro-Life Commission, served as healthcare proxy for a friend who recently died after a short battle with cancer. Bradford says doctors repeatedly asked her friend to sign the form.
So when I went to speak with the doctor told me that Diane did not have, she questioned her quality of life. And I said to her, no, she doesn't have your quality of life, but she is happy with the quality of life she has at this point. And she holds a religious conviction that she can do whatever she wants to sustain her life and any reasonable means. And the doctor persisted.
Protecting life in all stages, including end-of-life care, falls under the purview of the Pro-Life Commission, which organized the event.
When we talk about respecting life from conception till natural death, it's important for us to talk about all the different issues that affect that tenet all the way through. And today we're focusing on people that are preparing for times when perhaps they might come upon an illness, depending on who they have for family members, and being sure that they are their wishes are represented.
For more information, go to iobserve.org. Reporting for Reel to Reel in Westfield, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And finally today, if you've ever attended Mass or other gatherings at St. Patrick's Church in South Hadley, you've likely heard the music performed by Gertrude Kennedy, who's been the music director and organist at the parish for decades. Now, after 66 years, she's retiring. Nick Morganelli has the story.
On the Feast of Pentecost, her music led her choir for the last time. But she recalls when her music ministry began.
When I was 4 years old, the organist there at that time took me, put my hands on the keys and said, start playing. And that's the first time I ever started to play. Just as there. And from that point on, I've gone on with different teachers.
She eventually became a teacher herself, and one former student, Melanie Peets, is proof of Gertrude's legacy and mentorship. Now an organist and choir director herself, she shared a joyful testimony at the appreciation reception. Pastor Father James Nolte and former pastors Father Tom Shea and Father Rick Turner were in attendance to express their gratitude. The applause continued at the reception in the parish center. This humble servant did not want the attention, but choir members, parishioners, friends, and family expressed their love and admiration.
She's a year older than me, so I call her Mom, you know.
Choir member Richard Carignan, a lifelong parishioner for his 90 years, will miss her.
Well, listen, I've been in the choir over 50 years, so not as much as Gert, of course. But she's been an inspiration and a light to everybody that is in the choir. She's really something. I'll tell you, we love her, and for all the years that she's put in here.
There's a question that came up about the longevity of her music directing, too.
Nick, I'm wondering if Gertrude Kennedy is the longest employee with 66 years of the Diocese of Springfield.
Oh my gosh.
I know, huh?
Well, this is you're our longest employee. I've got that 67 years counts for something, doesn't it?
And there you go, Joyce. Bishop thinks so too.
What are you gonna do to keep yourself busy and out of trouble?
I don't know. You better find something for me to do.
Yeah, I'll come up with some ideas.
Many signed the guest book with personal notes.
She's just marvelous. She's creative. She's always positive. Learned all kinds of new things with Gert. She really loves this parish and loves her music. Whatever she did, she always made sure it was perfect. And you practiced till it was perfect.
Through the intercession of St. Cecilia, the patroness of music, we ask you, Lord, to send your blessing on this Pentecost Day to Gert for all the beautiful music that she's played, for the liturgies that she's enriched, for the joy she's brought to so many people. We also ask you to bless her, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Go Gert. Yay. Thank you.
Just thank you. I love it here. Thank you.
Celebrating a legacy of music directing for Reel to Reel, I'm Nick Morganelli.
And we wish Mrs. Kennedy the best in her retirement. And all of us here at Catholic Communications send out our congratulations to the newlyweds, Dan and Felicia Dumas, who were married last Saturday at St. Michael's Cathedral by Bishop William Byrne. We wish them well as they begin their lives together. And remember, this weekly program is only made possible thanks to your support of the annual Catholic Appeal. If you've made your 2023 donation, we thank you. But if you haven't yet made your contribution, you can do so easily by logging onto diospringfield.org, where you can make a secure donation. On behalf of the 40+ ministries and services funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, we thank you. For this week, that's Reel to Reel. To keep up with the latest news on the Catholic Church in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, head over to iobserve.org, where we have it all for you. And we are also on Facebook at Catholic Communications. I'll see you right back here next week at this same time for Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. I'll see you then.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.